So I've started recording as well, and my screen shows the independent forum. The Blockbuster article looks very bad page, or looks like a very sort of different page. So I will start with a quick a quick sort of review as well. And why review? I'll just tell you why we are just doing those reviews. Okay, so this is an article that we will try to style and give a style to, and we'll try to produce something like this. So I want to show you both of these articles, side by side. Now see here, this is an article. We have got some text over here, and we want to convert that into this beautiful article, which still has some things to be to be corrected. But anyhow, and you see there are a few things that you can see with your naked eye. Like again, you can see it quickly that we have given a style. This independent forum has changed. Its color is different. The fonts are different. This H1 looks like very different over here. Given some of the interesting fonts over there. Then there is the name of the author, and then there is a date, which of course it's a previous date. So I'll just update that one. But anyhow, so this is something that we'll be doing. So you can see few things. I'll be adding the picture as well. There is no picture here. I'll be adding the picture, and I'll be making these all paragraphs look like this. Now, not only this, what we'll be doing, I'll show you something else as well. This website is, some ways or others, it's responsive as well. And like this article is responsive also. And how it is responsive, I'll show you. That this article, if you see it right now, that I start squeezing my screen, see what happens after a certain particular time. Now can anyone tell me what different things have happened after this one? I'll show you just only this one so that we have nothing in the background. Okay, there are people waiting in the waiting room. Okay, welcome and Vinyok. So now what we are talking about, so for those who have joined, just joined us, this is one article that you see over here. Again, we will start with this one. I'll provide you all this. It's a simple HTML. Good afternoon. And what we want to do is that we want to convert this into this by applying CSS, by bringing up the picture, by applying CSS. And now I was telling you that there are a few things that you can just quickly see that, okay, the font has changed. This looks more professional web page, or look more professional. It has a picture. It's a font size is basically different, and it has this, the line spacing, line height is there, and there are lots of things. So there are a few things that you can see quickly, but I was telling you there are a few things that you might not be able to see right now, but you will see shortly. So it's a responsive in its own sense. And how come? I would like to hear from you. What changes do you see when I squeeze this website? Now, what are the changes? Can you just list down the changes in the chat window? What changes do you see when I'm squeezing down this page? Anyone? What are the changes that you see over here? Yep. Part of image is cut. Oh, no, not really, Vinny. The part of image is not cut. I'll show you. The image is 100% here. You see, the picture is ending at this point, and you will find that picture is always available. So you see that picture is there. What other? Text was adjusted. That's wonderful. Text was adjusted. You mean what? The writer name is going in the center and title also. Only that's wonderful. Do you see? They are all on the left, and they are going in the center. Wonderful. Any other changings? And that's a good interaction. I want you to interact with that one. What other changes do you see here other than Vinny and Pavni? Okay. Observe one more thing that's no one has mentioned. There is no, yeah, exactly. And there is no social media icon. There is no social media menu over here. And when you just squeeze your page, the social media menu will appear over. You see, it's appearing, it's popping up from nowhere. It's just popping up. That's wonderful. So these are the few things that you are looking at. So it's a responsive in its own way, because when I'm expanding it, you see my text goes in bit in the center, not only the center. There is some spacing that is applied over here. And when I start squeezing it back, you see at a particular view, what happens is that all this space that was coming before picture has gone, and my picture is very responsive, and it is showing me a complete article. This shows a bit of, that responsive behavior, Vinny, that we find in our most of the websites. You know what I mean? That whenever screen size is going down and the screen size goes to a particular thing, it just changes itself to that one. Now let me show you it in that our browser things as well. So if I say, for example, oh, Gautam is waiting there. So if I say, for example, I want to check it in, you see iPhone SE, you see my complete article is appearing. If I want to see, have you seen that? Have I told you that about this responsiveness? That if you want to see in the Pixel 5 mobile phone, it looks very great. If I want to see it in an iPad, for example, iPad mini, it looks great. But of course, the media icon is there, like, the social media icons are not there. But anyhow, that's a wonderful thing. Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, if you change your mobile phone to that one. So you see, this is one which typically says that this is typically that responsive in nature. So responsive in nature, and that responsiveness is basically showing us that this article is visible or is equally visible on all the devices. It's a wonderful thing. Do you understand, everyone? You see that on iPhone SE, my article will look like this. If the phone is my, iPhone SE. If the phone is iPhone 12 Pro, you will be able to see my article like this. If that is Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, you will see. So you see, nothing is cutting down, Vinny. There is no cutting down. Rather, what happens is that space just removes. The space is removed. So if I take it Surface Pro, the space comes back because the screen has gone a bit larger. So space has gone back. And now if I just again take it to so space has come back. And if I do it responsive again, the main side, and I can just check that by squeezing that one as well to check that whether what is happening on my pages. You see responsiveness? Now, there is one more thing that I want you to just focus, which is not quite visible. If you see that this picture has a source being mentioned over here, and when I take my cursor over this text, you see that text changes. It changes the color. It goes into green, and it also shows an underline when I take my cursor over that one. And of course, looks like it is linked to something. It's linked to unsplash.com, which is not there on my website. I've just given a dummy link. Making sense, everyone? This is one thing. And the other thing, if you see here, drop cap, that looks very nice. Okay, someone is showing thumbs up. I don't know who was that. So basically, what we are doing is that this is a drop cap, and you see this L has been dropped, and this is more like article type of effect. You see in articles, magazines, you always find a cap. Usually, you find a letter being dropped in a way that it's occupying 2 or 3 lines, and it's basically representing the first letter. And this represents the first letter in its whole sense, right? So that's something that I want to discuss. That these are the few things, and other than that, again, one of the things to be noticed, or for you to notice, is that the text coming in between, and when I just squeeze it, and I go to some particular view, and it just squeezes that out. So when I squeeze that, the social media icons appear, and it goes away when I just do that. Everyone understands that? Can I have some chat message, and then I'll start working on this. Now we will be converting what, as I told you, this is the text. Of course, I will just quickly provide you this HTML, and then we will start working on it. And in the meantime, when we'll be working on it, we'll be just trying to learn lots of new concepts that we have to use, that we use generally. Okay, right now, I don't know if I have made them clickable or not for me, but you can always make them clickable. Don't worry about that. We can always make them, and this is a very little code for that. But right now, they're not clickable. So I can make it clickable to my email, to Twitter, and to Facebook account, and things like that. So social media icons, you know that social media icons might appear over here, and sometimes in some websites you will find mostly at the very bottom, in the footer part of the document. So right now they're not clickable, but I will definitely, when we'll be working, we can make it clickable, and we can make them clickable, and you can just click them and you can find something. So let's talk about this text. And now what I'll do is that I'll create a new folder, not folder, we have a folder over there. I'll just show you what we are doing. Okay, so I'll open a new window because I have one over there. Right, so just bear with me. I will be providing you this this code, and I'll open up the folder first of all, our visual folder where we are working, where we were working in week 4. And lecture code, and this is week 10 that we are talking about, right? Week 10. Okay, so in week 10, if you see that we have till now we have talked about this in for your class for NBB and ZEE, we have talked about index.html and style.css and the nodes in between them. But for ZBB class, I just created these two files, these two more files. But again, right now we are not concerned with that one. What I'm doing is that inside that I'm creating a folder, a new folder. I can call it this folder as article folder. So I'll keep my all article files inside that one, right? So just to keep it separate from the previous one. And I create a new file in that one. And of course, I can call it index.html since it is inside the article. And also I want to create what? The CSS file. I can call it article.css, right? Article.css. I've just given this article.css, and now we'll be working on that one. So now this index file, what I want you to work on, I'll just show you shortly, and I'll just share this code with you, and then we'll work out together on this code. Okay, so this is my file over here, and let me just close all rest of them. Article.css I need. I don't need ZBB, and yes, this index I need. So I'll do that. Okay, I'll share this file with you. And I have called that article start. So you can call it anything you want. I'm sharing that on your chat. So just for the reason that you can access that one. Okay. Rather, I'll share it with from here. So I'll call it its index file, and you will get it with the index thing. Let me know when you see this file, index.html. I've shared this index.html with all of you. And I will, first of all, I will leave this one running, but of course I'll close this one because I want to run my output now, and I'll be looking at that output and seeing what will happen. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about something. All right. So this is the file that we have, and this is the article.css that we have, and we can work on this file. And now I'll run this file as well, because now this will be my running file where I'm working, and I will keep on comparing it with this file, which is a required. So I'll just take it aside because I will open it up whenever needed. Okay. So this is our document, and we want to convert that into some useful, with some CSS, useful CSS. Now, one thing that I want to tell you that I have discussed in my previous session, I hope you heard that there are lots of pre-made CSS libraries that we can always use. Can anyone tell me the name of any pre-made libraries that I've used in my previous lecture? Anyone? A previously made library that I used in my document, and I showed you that it changes a lots of things. It really changes a lots of things, and it converts them into a cool effect by itself. So one of them that I discussed over there was skeleton CSS. Right? So skeleton CSS. So if I go to this skeleton CSS, and I've copied this one. I can share this with you as well. And what I'll do is that I'll come over here after the title. I will put a link, and I'll post that link into this one, right? And now see here, after doing that, I want to show you that what happens even just after adding a outside library over here. So I just added this style sheet to this document right now. So if I hit save that, it's not doing anything. Is that the right document that we're running? Okay, just give me a second, because they usually put some of the impact on that one. I cannot believe that it's not putting any effect. Yes, I think I was missing the right link. Anyhow, so now if I hit save, Control S, do you see that already my document has changed a lot, which I don't want to do. I just want to show you, because this skeleton.css, it has some pre-made defined styles, and we can check them. This is a minified version, but we can check that online, that the CSS. So some people, they have just made some CSS files and they have uploaded that just for the use. One of the other one that we can always use, and we might be using that a lots of time, is that Bootstrap CDN link. There is another library, Bootstrap, which is in itself a complete designing library. And if you want to use that Bootstrap, I would just definitely copy this one from here, link, and I'll show you, and I'll delete this skeleton CSS. So I just want to show you that these files, how much impact they put on your files. So if I just add this Bootstrap file and I hit save, you see again my document has changed. Of course, there is no major thing that has been changing, but lots of things change by itself, and they have defined the style for that one. You know what I mean? So it means there are some pre-made libraries that if you use them, they will automatically apply some of the styling that I don't want over here. Here, what I want with my document is that I want to connect it to the article CSS. So I will say make a relationship with article CSS, and it's in the same folder. So there is no style being applied to that. Why? Because I have not given any styles in this article.style.css. Right? So now, just to check, I always do that, just to check that whether it is working fine or not. So I'll say body background color, a very bad blue. I always do that just to show you how bad it looks like. Now it means that my CSS file is now connected to my page. So would you remember this Bootstrap and all those things? And these are quite interesting, and we'll be using them every now and then to make our cool websites. Sometimes we'll be taking help from all these ones. But skeleton is so very interesting, and you can always use that, and that will change a lots of things by automatically, and you don't need even to learn them. Righto. So it means now we are done with that one, and looks like that we are good to go with that one. Right. Okay. So now let's talk about what we have to do. Let's talk about that what we want to do. First of all, let's see that what my page looks like. It's on normal, normal view right now. It's stretching and it's on normal view, but this is called a different view that I'll talk about later on. But let's first of all try to code the normal view. Okay, the first thing that I see overall in the document is that this looks a different form. Usually we apply some of the fonts, and this looks a different fonts rather than. And also I see that there is this text is basically a bit offset from this side and the top. You see that this is some offset. Now to apply that to our web page, what we do is that, again, as I said, that we have the body. We say that we want to make our body, and there is a property which is called margin, and I will talk about this margin in a very much detail in coming week. But right now, just bear with me. When I do this, look at the right side of my web page. Like, look at the right side of my web page. What happens? Do you understand what has happened? There is some space being inserted on the top, and there is some space being inserted on the left. Makes sense, everyone? So what it has done, it has just made these spaces, and I can show you. So if I make it a crazy space, you see how bad it looks like. But my body has gone away from the from the browser windows or browser lines. Is that making sense to everyone? So we are starting with that one. So first of all, the first thing on the body I want to apply, you remember we apply style like this, the body, and I want to apply a margin of 40 pixels. So this is the first thing that I want to do. Make sense to everyone? Now, other than that, what I want to do is that, for example, I want to change. So for example, let's see that what is the body text. So I'm not talking about this text right now because this is all the headings, and I can just change that. We can change that later on. But right now, if you see that I have got this font changed, and let me tell you what font it is, and I want to implement that. This font is EB Garamount. EB Garamount font. So I want to bring this EB Garamount font, and I'll show you how to bring that. And I hope if you have seen the video, you know how to add them. Let me just make something interesting. I want to sign out of this Teams. It's just making tring, 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 tring. And I think you will be hearing that tring, tring as well. Is that right, Vinny? Are you also hearing this annoying sound of Teams messages that are coming over? Oh, that's not coming, but anyhow. But you see the messages popping up, right, Vinny? Okay. So that's fun that at least you are not hearing. Anyhow, so this is EB Garamount font that I want to work on, that I want to bring on. Let's go away, go away. Don't want to go away. Just be here unless you go away. Okay. So now what I want to do is that I'll show you something interesting. I would like to show you just remove all and remove all. And now I would like to show you that how you select that. So now this is EB Garamount font that I want to apply. So this looks like a EB Garamount font that I want to apply. So if you want to apply that, select that style. And again, if you see that you might have that window over here, and here the links appear. So you go to import, one of the way, and just copy the import part of the font. Import part of the font, and you come back to your article CSS, and at the very beginning, you go and do that import. So if you are doing this import in CSS file, external CSS file, you know that you don't need to put the script tag because the script tag is automatically there. Make sense, everyone? So in my body, I want to use this font family, and which is what? This Garamount and serif, right? So I'll copy this style from here, and I'll come over here and I paste this one. And now what happens is that my font has changed. So let me just show you. This is now showing the same font. If I make it comment, this is different font. Of course, this looks a bit different. And if I uncomment it and save it, you will see that this looks like more what we are required to do. So this looks like more like the font that I want to implement over here. Right. So the first thing that we have done is that on the body, on the complete body of the document, apply these two rules. The margin of 40 pixel. Everyone understand what is margin of 40 pixel? When I say 10 pixel, for example, you will see my document will stretch a very near to that. Still there is a space of 10 pixel, but looks like that my document is having that 40 pixel of strength. So it is giving, just to understand that it's just offsetting the document 40 pixel from the top, 40 pixel from the left. Right. So got everyone? Okay. And I was saying that we can just change this date to today so that we have a nice effect. March 17th. And it's not 2021. No, we are 2022. Just for nothing, I have done that. Anyhow. So this body, we have done that. And now if you come to this document, there is a header part of it. And you remember when I was discussing that always try to place this header part as that would be our, the semantical header of the document that will show the outside users or the outside, the crawlers that are coming, and they are just reading your document, so they know that what's going on inside that document. Anyhow, so what we want to do, that I want to where did you get the link for the new font? Oh, okay. So Vinny, I got this link, or for example, you can just copy this one, and I've copied this import part, Vinny. I can share the the URL for that one. So when I have just copied this import, I have gone and just copied this import part, no style tag. Very making sense? Copy this and I've pasted this over here. And now this is basically showing the EB get amount font. And don't worry about that, because I'll be bringing more fonts like this. So if you miss that out, no issues. You can add any font that you want, and you can always bring any fonts that from that Google font. And by the way, that I discussed in the first session. You remember, you were there by yourself. Okay. And then let's talk about some of the headings. So see, so heading looks very different. Headings just look very different. And the font that has been used over here is Erwin heading font. So now I have to bring this Erwin heading font, and this is not on Google font, it's online web fonts. No worries about that. And looks like this is the Erwin heading regular font. So now you see here, if you want to use that one, just click on that. So this is Erwin heading font that I want to use. So what I'll do is that I can do you see, I can do most of the things. I can just copy this import statement from here, this second one, and I come back to my page, and again I import that. So you can import any number of style sheets, any number of things. Just don't worry about that. I've just copied that one and pasted over here. Right? And now, how can I use that one typically? If you see, if they have given it over here, if they have given how we'll use that. Anyhow, I'll just let you know that how we can use that one over here. Now, so first of all, where I want to apply that font to, I want to apply that font to my headings, both of the headings. And what are my headings? If you see my code, my headings are H2 and H1. H2 and H1. I am talking about the headers, right? So if I say H2, H1, comma H2, right? Font family, and let me tell you, you will write Erwin and serif. So if Erwin is not found, change that to serif. So H1 and H2 font should be changed to Erwin and serif. If I save that one, hit save, do you see that it more looks like now our required font? But it's a bit thicker than that one, and we can handle that also. You know, shortly we'll talk about that, how we can just handle that one. But right now both of the headings have gone this way. But there is a problem. What is the problem? The problem is that if I have any other H1 on my document, so say for example, if I go over here, just for nothing, I am saying that there is an H1 over here, and that says extra heading for testing. So if I say extra heading for testing, do you see that this heading has also gone this font, which I don't want? What should I do? Now see, I want this H1 which is inside this header. So I want only those. You remember contextual selectors from last lecture, those who have seen the video and those who have attended the lecture, contextual selector. So I don't want every H1 and H2 to go to the font family Erwin. Rather, I want only the H1 which is inside header and H2 which is inside header. See the difference what will happen now. If I hit save, contextual selector, remember, if I hit save, you will see that now this extra heading has a normal font. Why? Because I just said that only change those H1 and H2 which are inside this header and not outside of this header. Make sense, everyone? This is called contextual selector, and I discussed this contextual selector yesterday now, like in our last class in a greater detail, and I hope you had a chance to look at that one. So we have changed the font of this H1 and H2, but only those H1 and H2 that have. Now another thing to notice over here. Another thing to notice over here is that if I see that the content are not going all the way to the end, which is happening for me. You see my content are going all the way to the end. If I stretch, of course, they are going all the way to the end. So it looks like there is some width being set with these one. And now we can do what we can do. Rather than setting up this width for the body, what we can do, we have two main sections in our index.html. One of them is header and one of them is main. There is no footer that we have used. You can use footer and all those things. But I'll say, okay, just come back to over here. And now you say header, comma, main. Apply some style to that one. And what is that? The max width. There is a property max width. What is the max width? So if I say max width is equal to 600 pixel, what does that mean? My content will never go above 600 pixel. So you see here, when I'm stretching my document, if I stretch my document or squeeze my document, when I'm squeezing, that font is squeezing. That's okay. But when I'm expanding it, you see that it goes and reaches and stops at 600. 600 looks a bit more. Let me see what is over there, maybe. So it looks like, okay, it's a 100 pixel more. So I can do one more thing. I can say not 600, maybe 500 pixel. So 500 pixel. So now my maximum width, if you see, that maximum width will never cross that one. So you see 500 pixel. It's not going anywhere else. You see 500 pixels, and yes, when I squeeze it, they will go down. But when I just expand them, they are not going down. Make sense, everyone? I'm not getting any response from other than you, Vinny, mostly. See if everyone. Pavneet, that's wonderful. Pavneet, are you following along with me, like coding with me? Okay, that's good. That's good. Wonderful. Now, so this is what we have done with the header and main. Main that they should not go any of the any of the width other than, so maximum width you just go and stop at 500 pixel. Don't go above that. That's the maximum width, and minimum you can go to any point. Now let's start talking about this independent forum tag, which we have to make, which we have to work on. So what we have to work on, we need to work, first of all, we need to make it red color, right? So this is what, which tag it is. If you go in my document and say, this is basically the H2. And again, semantically also, it is representing a smaller heading. So now if I go to my document, and if I say, again, it is inside header. So I'll say header H2, right? So color red. The first thing, the color red. Right? So it means that now my color, like my heading looks like, in color, it looks like exactly the same as it was over here. But you see the size is too much. There we have a little size. And if you have seen my last lecture, if you have attended my last lecture, you remember we have talked about a unit which is M. So I'll say, for example, font size. So remember, 1M means the normal size of that size, or normal, 1M is typically a normal size, or it says that 16 pixel of the size. But now here I want shorter than that one. So if you want any shorter than that one, you will say 0.7 EM, for example, and let's match it with our given one. So it looks like quite near to that one, 0.7 EM, 0.7 EM. And again, if you are looking for definition of EM, look at the recording of the first lecture. You will find that what is EM, what is M, right? Vinny, do you remember what was M unit? So you see here, we have done a very interesting thing. Even though this is H2, but we have made its font smaller. We have made its font smaller. And we have to do the other way around, the flipping side of that other one, because we have to make this one bigger. This H1 should be more bigger than that. It looks smaller than that one, right? And you see that only blockbuster word is coming in the first line, and all of them are going in the second line. So it means I need to work on that one. So let's go back over here. And now let's work on the H1, header H1. Now you see here, I don't need to change the color, but I need to change the font size. Yeah, exactly. You're right. And you can always look at the lecture. So if I say, for example, 1 EM over here again, so it has gone to 16 pixel size, but I don't want it to be 1 EM, and rather I want it to be a very bigger one. Looks good, but still blockbuster article, all of them are coming. So let's see if I can make that. Now this looks quite good and quite near to what is expected. Only that it looks a bit bolder one, but we'll handle that one as well. Right? So we have just done what? We have just changed the font size of that one. Now there is a property which is called font weight. And font weight is for bold, bolder, lighter, 100, 200, 300. Now I want to make it thin. I want to make it a bit thinner. So what I'll do is that I'll say, okay, for example, font weight should be 100, not pixel. You see, font weight has gone a bit thinner in the size. Okay, So just give me a second. I have to set a message. Okay. Right. So we have just changed the heading one, right? So the heading one is also being done. Okay, now let's see what else we can do. Sorry. What else we have to do? So we have, you see this font, the font of this author. This looks a bit different. It looks like a Verdana font or a very simplistic font. So what I want to do is that I want to work on this author. And now I'll go back to my code and see that if I can catch this author. So you see that I have given an span ID is equal to author that I can always catch over here. So remember the importance of these IDs and everything, not only for the CSS, but also for JavaScript, because the other project that I'll be doing with you after discussing the box model in next week, I'll be talking about a project where we'll be doing this JavaScript also. Will be including that JavaScript also. So here I want to have a font family, and I want to have a font family which is already there. So I don't need to include any reference for that one. So if I hit save, for example, you see my font is changed. The author font is changed. And now let's make this font a bit bold. And I can say font weight bold. You see now my Alan Turing looks like a bit more bold and prominent in that. Righto. Now let's go back over there and see what is happening over there. So we have worked on that. We have the line coming over. We don't have the picture over here, right? We don't have the picture over here. And now what I want to do is that I want to bring up that picture. And even before that picture, because there is you remember there is a social media icon that has to come over here. You remember that will come sometime. So it has to come after the author. So I will first work on that social media icon. And this is very interesting. And this will give you a good sense of how we can just bring all those icons on our web page. And they are quite a fun. So what I want to do, I want to create this social media icon or social media list over there. The sort of the navigation bar or sort of a bar that I want to create. So I will come in my index.html and I'll come after this P, but it should remain inside the header, right? And I want to create an ID of social. So I'll work on the style of that one, social. So I've created an ID, the shortcut. You can use #social and then div ID is equal to social will appear by itself. Now I want to bring icons over here. Now there are multiple ways to access or to bring icons on your page. One of the ways is there is a library which is called Font Awesome. And I will look for Font Awesome link. And there is this is Font Awesome. And there are so many awesome fonts that we have in that Font Awesome. So let me see that it says that you can paste this following code into your use that one. So Bootstrap. Oh no, I don't want the Bootstrap CDN. By the way, I want the default CSS, of that one. So default Font Awesome CSS with default Bootstrap CSS. Again, I don't want specifically with the Bootstrap, but I want this one with this. So take this one out of it and bring that onto your page. Right. So we have just copied this Font Awesome over here. Now let's see that what are the Font Awesome fonts available to us, and we can just see that. So right now, if you see that we have got a mailbox type of something, then we have a Twitter icon, then we have Facebook icon. So we'll just check that what are the different fonts that we have available over here. So if I want to search for some icons, I go to the icons. And these are the icons that I have. So you see, do I have a search option over here? Should be there, but let's see. Let's check mail options. So I can mail reply, I can mail something. Let's take this icon envelope, something like that. So now it's very easy. If you have this available on your, the link, the Font Awesome, the Font Awesome CSS link, what you do is that it just says that you can call this one into your program and you will get this icon on your program. So if I just copy this I for icon, by the way. So if I come inside this div, in between this div, and I say that is that one. And now let's check that whether it has brought that one or not. just save that, because sometimes it creates a problem, and I'll have to just see if it creates that one. Icon and the alt. It's not displaying that one because sometimes it's after you're running, you can place font on some icons just on your I tag. Okay, just let me check that. Sometimes, just lately it was not working with the I tag, it was working with the span tag, not working, and just convert that to the I. Specifically, it has to be an icon. Okay. So icon envelope alt. It should be there. Let me just check for the font awesome. .css link, if I'm using the right CSS, because sometimes this is the font awesome, and oh, this is the website that I think I was looking for. Maybe I used the wrong one. Anyhow, just here, mail. So here we have got this. Yes, you see envelope and all those things. So maybe we can just use anyone else, or we can use the same envelope. And how we can use that? It is saying that you can use this one. So let me just copy this one for the HTML and paste this. Check whether it brings that. Otherwise, I might need to change my link as well. Okay. So let me see that. Okay. Is it giving the that is started? Okay. Do you see anywhere? Oh, it's a it's okay, about 1,000 of icons, classes and HTML tag, but where is that? Okay. Just give me a second. I think I have that font awesome somewhere in my notes. Let me just find that out. It's with me. Let's see if that works for me. Okay, still not working. That's wonderful. So FA solid envelope. There is one more FAS. I think the class is now changed. Let me just, because I can find in my notes if that is there. Okay, still not showing. That's wonderful. Right, just give me a second and let me just check that what it is doing. Envelope class is equal to, it has to come. Here we use that CDN as well. Okay. For anyone, is it working for anyone? Because sometimes it works for font awesome. Yes, CDN. Okay. Font awesome library, CDN, JS. Oh, I think, yep, this might work for me. Copy this one, right? Okay, so I'm just copying that one, just checking up that, and so. Oh, okay. It asks you to insert some script over there, and then it works. I'll see that shortly. I'll see. Okay, so now please leave that one out, and this is the one that will work for us. And by the way, I'll just I'll just see that if the code that it provided, is it working with that one as well or not? Just let me check that one. Go back. Where is that envelope? Envelope. Oh, it's here. If I go to envelope, I'll just check that one, that whether it's working or not, because this code is working very much for me, and I have to check that FA-solid is working for me. Again, this is all the version difference and things like that. You can just check. Okay, so now it's working for me as well, right? So I will just remove that for the timing. Why? Because I want to see this. I want to take that from there one. Now, please, step by step, just copy this link into your, not this link, rather I'll share my link, because you need to have a link tag as well. So copy this in your head section first of all, right? And then we are searching for that one, and I'm showing you that which font I'm using that over here. So this is the envelope link, and then I will be just taking. Yeah, Pavneet, I'm showing you. Pavneet, first of all, see a step. step number one, I have shared this this one with my CSS. Yeah, I have just shared this with link with you. If you see in my chat window, before like the first message that I sent at 2:37. So you copy that one into your head section from me. Got it, Pavneet? Just say yes when you are done. So I have copied this from this area, and I will just keep this as a reference, because at times it creates a problem because it should not waste time separately. Okay, so now see here. Okay, then you have copied this one, and then this link that I've shared, the second link, you will find this envelope icon, and you can just you can just copy this code from HTML and paste that one. Now I'll show you that if I'm looking for something from the Twitter. See Twitter icons, there are these 3 icons, and again this one is basically used there. Let's use that one again. So I copy this one, Control C. I come over here. After this I'll just paste that one and check on my web page. You see the Twitter icon, and we'll just style it later on. But first of all, we are just bringing up those icons. And what is the third icon that you have to use? Facebook icon, right? Or we can use anyone. That it's up to you now. So if I close that one, if I say that I want a Facebook icon. So let's see this Facebook. There are lots of Facebook coming. Let's use maybe this one just to change the flavor a bit. Control C, and I have done that one. Control V. Pavneet, are you able to get that? So I'm getting these 3 ones. And of course you can add anyone. So if you are liking any icon, you see that okay, you feel that okay, this looks like a good icon, I want to thread that one. It's all up to you, and they're all free to use, by the way. And you don't have to do anything. Okay, for example, this arrow up from something like that. I like this one. I can't copy anything from. Yeah, Vinny, I don't know. It looks like maybe it's something to go with my Zoom settings or something, and that will be there. So I have just added one more icon. Yeah. So, but anyhow, what we can do to remove that? I'll have to again I'll have to check that maybe why it's doing that. And why it is just doing that. So you can just look at that one, CDN, JS, libraries, and font awesome. Okay, right. Yeah. So now you see here, Vinny. So I've just brought like these 4 icons. It really never matters that if you have 3 or 4, but don't worry about the spacing, because I will talk about that. I will have to work on its style specifically to work on that one, and then we'll see that how we can just work on that. And I have, by the way, I have just given that one a social ID over there, and there is a social ID related to that one, and I'll talk about that social ID later on. So first of all, we have just brought this one over here, right? And now I don't want it to be over here. Why? Because you see that on my normal screen they are not there. So how can we do that? This is very simple. How to catch this social media icon? There is an ID with the social. So I go over there, you see here, and I say social, and I do display none. Now you might be understanding that I will be displaying it back on a particular situation, which is not there right now. I'll display that by using some of the technique, but right now I'm saying that just go away from my view. I don't want you to be able. You see here, it is there. It's available over there, but it has gone away. Right? So it has just gone away from my viewing area. Is that making sense? And by the way, before going under there, I can just make a space in between them. So again, without worrying about what is this padding, because I will be talking about this padding and why I'm writing these 2 values with that one, but just bear with me and do that. Okay, no, it's not done that. The padding is done, but I want some margin in that, right? So let's do some. Not padding. If I say margin, not working. Okay, margin social. Oh, okay. Oh, it won't work. It won't work. Yes, I can understand. And why it is not working, I'll just let you know. It won't work with the social icon. Rather, it will work with the separately with these icons. Okay, let me just tell you that over here. So you know that is in this social tag, in this social ID, there are eyes in between that, like I tag. So the style that I wanted to apply over here, it won't be applied directly to social, rather it will be applied to eyes, on the eyes in between that. You know what I mean? The icons. And the padding that I was talking about, I'll implement this padding over here. And again, without knowing that what is padding right now, just bear with me, and it will give you a very nice effect of these, like these spread together, spread on your screen. You know what I mean? So just don't worry about that one. And by the way, I right now don't want to display it, because I would be displaying it later on when someone just reaches to a particular viewing area. Does that make sense to everyone? Now we have got the social media icon, which is not there right now, and it's almost it has almost been stylized. I have given the style which I want over here. So you see that it comes in between, and I'll talk about that how it will come in between. But right now it is just showing us some spaces in between them, and I can just see that there are 4 icons. So you can always use these icons, and that icon will be working for you. Right. So what next? So the next is we have brought this icon, which will appear ultimately, which are appearing over here. And of course, I don't want to display them over here, and I'll save that. Okay. And I save that, and I say that I don't want to. Okay. What else? I now want to have this picture that is over here. If you see here, not here, here, this picture. And again, you can take any picture that you want, and we can just set up all the properties for that picture. But you can take any picture out of that. And I have one picture, is as I said, this is a mountain picture, and I can just provide you that mountain picture. I can just copy and paste, or you can just use anyone, whatever you want. You can always use that one. I'm just copying this one into my folder, and I'll show you into my article folder, by the way. So now if I have just pasted one picture, you can bring any picture you want. This mountain.jpg is over here, right? I've just copied that from my other folders, right? So now I want to bring this picture, and if you see that this picture, if you see over here, this picture does not look like the part of header, rather it looks like the part of the main. Is that clear? So what I'll do, rather than putting this picture on the header is just all these things that are coming in the header, and that menu icon that is coming over there. Now, what I want to do, I want to place this picture into my main area. So I'll come into main area after my HR. There's after our HR. Now here I want to tell you something. I want to bring this picture, and I can bring this by using IMG. But to make our website again semantically more acceptable, semantically more more understandable, what I'll do is I'll use another element, which is a figure element. Now I'll show you what is the figure element. Figure element in HTML. So you see that figure has an optional caption, and that we work on. So the figure element, if I just make it big, the figure element HTML represents self-contained content potentially with an optional caption, which is specified by using fig caption element. The fig caption is a caption, its contents are referenced to a single unit. Now we will create a single unit, and we can create a fig caption. And while I am doing that, that there is some fig caption being given to that. And if you use this figure element, that all the contents that you are using, they will just go inside that one, and they'll become a one container. Make sense, everyone? So what I'll do, that I want to create a figure, and in this figure, what I want to do, I want to bring a picture, right? And right now, I'm not too worried about its height and width, because I'll set that up by using CSS. So I just bring that picture, and now let's see my document. And if I show you, okay, the mountain is not coming. Why? Because I'm just doing the wrong thing. Mountain.jpg. So you see, picture has come and it is going outside of the limits. Don't worry about that. But just see that my picture has appeared on that one. And now, what is the fig caption that I want to give inside that one? That Unsplash says that you have to give credit to your photographer, like the photographer who has taken this picture. So if you see here, there is some text that I have just mentioned. So I want to add that, and I will work on that, that styling as well. So I want to give this fig caption over there. So come over here and inside this fig, after this img, use fig caption. Right? And yes, we can just give some of the normal text, picture, a mountain picture taken by, I don't know who has taken that, so we are just giving them credit, created by a photographer, right? And photographer. And now I want to give this what? Let me just show you. So I have just written down some normal text, and then I'll say source photographer, right? So I want to add that one. So I'll say, for example, I'll give it a class of credit because I'll apply some style to that one, and I will say source, and I'll say, for example, I'll create an href, and I'll say unsplash.com again because I'm just crediting the user and the photographer, and I'm saying XYZ photographer who has taken this picture. Photographer, right? So I have this one. So if you see here, now you see that of course this all looks very bad, but I'll just work on that one. A mountain picture taken by a photographer, source XYZ photographer, and it is linked to the unsplash.com. I mean, there is no unsplash.com over here. So I'll just show you that how you can just work on that. Right. So this is what our figure is all about. And now we have to work on the style of the figure. And why we have to style on the figure? Because we want to just make it looking nice. We want to make it be available. We want to make it lots of things. So now let's first of all start talking about this fig caption that we want to work on, because fig caption looks a bit bigger, and over here if you see that fig caption is quite small, and that's some italicized and all those things. So I want to just work on that one. So now let's come back over here and fig caption. So I want to work on now fig caption. Okay, so let's come back over here and I say fig caption, right? And if I say fig caption, and so let's apply some style to this fig caption, right? So font style, I want to apply italicized. So you remember we cannot use this italic tag over there, but there is an italic property of fig cap of CSS that we can always use. And I say font size, I want to make its font size a bit smaller, because I don't want it to be that much bigger as it is available. Oh, it's gone very short. So you see now it looks like that it has gone to a bit of acceptable level, or maybe 0.9, or 0.9 is bigger. So let's make it 0.8. Right. So this is now our picture. And let's give a line height in that one. And by the way, I'll talk about line height shortly. 1.2, and that will give some of the line height, or if we want to give, or maybe we want to bring that on the same line. Why it's not coming in the same? Okay, I've used this div. Rather, I should use a span over here, because this div is taking to the other line, and I was just wondering why I'm doing that. It should come in the same line, right? So this is there, and we have got something like that. Now this picture has come over here, and we have got this one. And if you see that we have just given this fig caption some styling, and now we have given this all if you see that I have given this all source as a credit class. So I want to work on that credit class. So how to work on the class? You remember the credit. We need to give that credit class, and we are working on that one. So if you see that the font color looks different, font color looks a bit maybe a darkish gray of the shade or something like that. So let's first of all change the font color. Not font color, it's color, right? Dark gray, so to speak. And let's change the font family to Verdana family, because this looks a bit different from that one. And then font style, I want to have its font style to be normal. You remember the font style has been applied to italic, but I want to make this one as a simplified, and I want to keep that one italic. Maybe it's up to you, whatever you want. And the font size should be 0.7 EM. Again, I want to make it a bit smaller. So you see that it has to The credit has gone, it is not italicized. So credit is starting from this source, and then it is going all the way over here. Right? Now the next thing that I want to work on is this link that is over here. And this is very interesting. And I want you to just focus on that one, because credit, in the credit class, there is a credit class, there is an A anchor tag. And you know that this anchor tag is inside this credit class, right? So I want to access that credit class A and see what I do. Text decoration. There is one property of text decoration. If I say none, see what happens to my link. Sorry, I'm just making it a bit big. So you see that my photographer has gone. There is no underline over there. Looks cool now. You know, because underline always does not look that good. So now if I want to make its color, I can change its color as well, because now it is different. And if I say dark gray, now the picture, this color is also dark gray. My cursor is already changing into the hand. Why? Because it's always there. Now there is a special type of properties that are called pseudo properties. So we say credit, inside the credit, there is an A when someone hovers over that. You know what I mean? Inside credit, this is A, which I was doing over here. And on that A, if typically someone hovers over that one, someone takes their cursor over that one. So I can do a lots of interesting thing over here. If I say color and I say red, for example, when user hovers over it, change the color to red. Text decoration, which was underlined before. Now I want an underline when user is visiting that one or hovering that over. If you see here, when I hover that, it changes into red color. Here I had changed, like here it was changed into green color, right? And here it is changing into the red color. And you can do whatever you want. Right? So you see that how many things you can do that. So for example, in this hover part, you can just you can say that, for example, this when user is hovering, the font weight, not font size, font weight should go bold, for example, something like that. So you see when you take your cursor over it, it goes bold. Or you want to change the font size as well. That when user hovers over it, just change it to 1 EM, something like that. So if you see what happens, it's 1 EM is automatically. So I can say 1.2 EM, just make it a bit bigger. So if you come over here, you will see that the font is going up. Right? So this is basically what is happening, that it is just changing that one. Okay. So now let's see what else we want to do. I have added the picture. Now looks like this picture is going out of my screen. Now let's work on that one. I'll come over here and IMG. I've created this IMG. This is the picture. So I will say, for example, the max width of picture should be 100%. And what is the 100%? Whatever its parent has the 100%. So what is the parent of this image? If you see, the parent of this image is figure, and figure has the parent of main. So whatever is the width of main, 100% of that one. So now this picture, or if you see that it is just occupying the picture of whatever is the figure is just basically occupying. It's just taking it to 100%. And now my most of the things have been done. Right. So now my article is starting to look a bit more like what is required. Okay, this extra heading I don't need, but anyhow. So you see that it is now looking a bit more like this one. Is that right? Okay, this is the older one, so it's an old date. So now, if you see that the picture is coming over there, and now what we can do is that we can just talk about that one. Okay, and one more thing, this picture should be aligned with this text, right? So for that, I will need to work on something else. So I need to work on this figure, because I said this is the parent, and it is occupying the parent's width. So if I come here and I say figure, I'll say figure, and if I give it a margin of 0, because it's just occupying some of the margin. I talk about the margin as I said. So now it is looking more like that, right? So picture is occupying as much as the text has been occupied over. Now, one more thing before we start this drop capping, one more thing I want to show you, that the text is a bit spacey over here. Like there is a line height is basically a bit more in that given one. Do you notice that one? And the font size is a bit bigger than that. So I want to work on that. Now, where this all text is residing? Let's go and check on my HTML. This all text which is coming, it is residing inside the main. Of course, there is a figure, but this all is coming inside the main. So I'll come back over here. Do I have a main style defined? It is with the header, but I want to apply separately with the main. So I'll say the main, for the main, do few styles. And what are those styles I want to apply? For example, I want to say the font size should be 1.2 em rather than 1 em. Make it a bit bigger. So font size has got a bit bigger. Now the other property that I want to set is the line height. I want to make its line height to 1.6. It does not require any em or any pixels or something. You see the line height has gone up. If I say 2, you see line height keeps on increasing. Looks very bad. But again, if I say 1.2 something like that, it looks a bit understandable. 1.3, because at internet you always want. And I can do one more thing. Text align is equal to justify, which is not there. Like in my previous article, it is not there. I can just, yeah, exactly. Line height is the specific. So you see here, Vinny, see here when I do it 4, for example, very bad. You see the line height is making it 4. So the heading, everything is going over there, right? So what I've done, 1.3 was a good value. That looks reasonably separated lines, right? So you can always do that. And I don't want this H1 in between because I just gave the test. You can just leave that anyhow. But now it's just looking very nice, and even it's looking from my given more nice, because there was text was not just justified over there. So it is basically just looking a bit more realistic over here. Okay. So now I want to do this drop capping over here. This L first letter, I want to drop cap it like that. Now, remember that whenever you have to work on any particular piece of something, and you don't want to put a new line over there, because this is not in the new line. This L is not in a new line, rather it's in its own line, but it's occupying those lines and spaces. So now the one way of doing that is that first of all, occupy or capture the reference of this letter. And how we can capture the reference of one thing out of a paragraph without putting a new line into that one is that we put that inside the span, and we give it for example, an ID. So you can give it ID or anything. So I can say first letter, right? So I have just taken the reference of this L, which shows a bit of space, which is coming because I did mistake. So now this L is just captured over here. I have the reference of this capture. Do you make sense of it? And if I want to apply some styling to that one, I'll come over here and I'll say hash first letter, because I'm working on this ID, first letter. What I want, first of all, see, I want to change its font size to, for example, a bigger one, or maybe I want to do that EM. Or here I'll give in pixels, and why I'll give in pixels, I'll show you. So it's a bigger one. Looks like nice. Looks like I have achieved half of them. So now the line height where this letter is occupying, I'll change its line height to, for example, 50 pixels, the line height of this line. So looks like it is in line. The line height has gone top. You see that it has gone on the top, right? Now, so one of the option is, this is called padding, and padding on the top. And again, as I said, I have not discussed the box model. So right now it might not make a sense, but if you see that I have just offset it from the top of the line. Just understand, padding is offsetting from the top of the, and padding right. I want to apply padding right. I want to make it a bit offset from the left, from the right side as well. You see the text has gone away. Do you see this padding? If I say 10, the text will go more away. So I want to do that 8 pixels, just look like. Now the last option, which will give you a very good sense of this, it's a float property. If I say float left, see what will happen. The letter will start flowing on the left of it, and all the lines will flow above that. Winnie, is that cool? So first letter has dropped cap. Now, since I gave it an ID of first letter and I have just implemented this style to that one, so it will be only implemented to that one. But do you feel that if I go to index, rather than applying an ID, I create a class of first letter? Of course, it won't be there now. Class of first letter. So if I define a class rather than an ID, So what will happen? Now, if I define a class, so now it can be applied to any of the paragraph starting one. So for example, if I come over here and I say, I want to have this drop cap on the second paragraph as well. So I say span class equal to, and class is equal to first letter, and I place, for example, I'll just take out that L and I say that there's a W in between that. So if I just do that, see here what happens. Now I can apply this drop capping to any of them, because I have defined a class for that one. Are you understanding? And again, if you have taken yesterday's lecture, I told over there that this this class and ID, what is the difference between class and ID? So someone hopefully remembers that one. So now we are done with most of the things, and I don't want this to be for the W. I just wanted to show you that yes, this is something that you can also do, and by using the class, you can always drop cap of every paragraph. So you see, for every paragraph, it will just start drop capping, and then you can play with all these options that I'm just displaying over here. Now, last but not the least, very important part, and what is that? That when I start squeezing it, you see, when I start squeezing it, the text looks like in the center right now. You see, the text looks like in the center. There is no icon over here. Rather, if I see my required document, you see here, now I'll show it like this. So if I see my required document, I'll see from the top. So when I start squeezing it, everything changes. The text goes in the center, and the author name goes in the center, and also this appears over here. Now, how to achieve that? To achieve this effect, we have something called, I'm just teaching you that, like we are discussing that for the first time as well, and you need to just go and find that about that. So there is something called media queries that make our page more and more responsive. Media queries. So I'll just give you a quick sense. What is the media query? A media query is a CSS technique introduced in CSS3. It's a rather new CSS3 technique. It uses @media rule to include a block of CSS properties only if a certain condition is true. So if a certain condition is true, it will execute. Now see here, for example, if the browser window is 600 pixel or smaller, the background color will be light blue. See this media. So let me just implement that one. It says how to write that. I'll just show you. Media only screen. When you are on the screen, apply this media query and max width is 600 pixel. When the document goes to 600 pixel, the body background, apply some rule on the body. The background color should become blue. Good, interesting. Come back to your document, come back to your CSS, and just supplement that one. I've just taken that from the Wikipedia. Save this, and now see my document. Now see my document. If I start squeezing it, do you see what is happening? When it reaches to 600, it changes its background color. Cool, isn't that? Now, if I just stretch it back, it's again go back to that one. You see, what does that mean? So for example, if I say on the body, if I say the background color is, for example, I change this background color to something different. So now see here. So normal body, which is a normal body, which has a background color some different. This is the background color of my normal body. But when I start squeezing it, the body background color is changed. Why? Because I say that in media query, on screen, when max width becomes 600 pixel, apply this property. Does that make sense to everyone? Now, the first thing that I want to do, you remember, I have created a social icon and I have displayed it none. Do you think that I need to do something very interesting over here? If I come over here, and the first thing that I would do, I'll say that social icon which I've created, make it display, and remember I'll talk about these displays a lot later on. Make it display block. It should come in a block right now. Save that, hit save. You see, and the body has gone to the because I have given a background color over here. So now that media icon is appeared, and now see here, display none, display block, display none, display block. Are you getting that one? Right? And now what about this one? The text, again, the text size still remains over there. I'll say, okay, I want to do something. I say that in this media query, when it happens, the header of my document should have a text align off center, because whatever is the text alignment before. Right now it is on the left. You see, if I make it big, it is on the left assigned. And if I start squeezing my document and I reach to 600 pixel, you see that when I reach to 600 pixel, it has gone to the center. Do you see that independent forum that is going in the center? You feel that? So not only that we are not able to see the changes occurring on your screen. Oh, okay. Okay, looks like there will be some lag. Okay, let me just now, Pavneet, let me know. I don't know what's happening with audio. Yeah, okay, no problem. So Pavneet, now tell me, when I am slowly expanding it, do you see that its screen is expanding? Pavneet, can you just be with me for some time? Oh, you don't see. Okay, see, Vinny, I'm squeezing very slow now. Tell me that, do you see my squeezing of screen, Vinny? Oh, still not see. That's wonderful. Still not see that squeezing? Wonderful. And what do you see now? What do you see now, by the way? Dash background, squeezed part. Do you see the social media icon? The social media icon? Oh, okay. So again, just right now, I understand what's happening. So right now, just trust on me that when it goes above, so now you see that social media icon has gone away, Pavneet. The social media icon has gone away. Okay. Now you see that it's not showing the squeezing and spending of the document, but it really shows you the output later on. Is that the case, Gautam? So be with that again. It's just the lagging that is not showing that. But anyhow, do you see that now? You can see that. Now I'll show you. The text has come in the center. The header is all in the center. I'll be reading a quick feedback for that. Header is all in the center. And if I just squeeze out, like I can expand out, I will see that now the header is all on the left alignment. That's wonderful. I do need another thing. Now you see my squeeze document, and there is too much space on the left and the top, which I don't want. Or maybe on the left, I don't want this one, or on the top even. So what I'll do, see here, I'll come over here and I'll say, okay, the body of the document, the margin, you remember I applied how much margin? 40 pixels. Make it 5 pixel when screen is squeezed. Now see here, my already squeezed screen. Do you see that my picture has gone very to the left, and now I have only 5 pixel margin. Now I'll stop here. Do you see my squeezed screen and everything stuck to it, like now sticking to the left? Everyone can see that. That's good. And now how about this? When I'm expanding back, now you see that the margin has become 40 pixel. So margin is becoming 5 pixel when my body, like documents body. Oh yeah. So see here, Vinny, very easy. Vinny, I defined this social ID and I did display none. And in my media query, what I've done, I have done display block. So turning on, turning off. I can do the other way around. Vinny, for you, I'm doing the other way around. If I say display block, so it will be available in my expanded version. And now if I say in that one, in my media query, display none. Now see, I have done the reverse. So see Vinny, what happens when I squeeze it and I stop, you see that it goes away. So I just flip the property. You know what I mean? So for media query, no. For media query, I want it to show block. Like again, I'll tell you what is block. Right now, just consider block means yes. And for my normal social media icon, I don't want it to display on the normal screen. So I'll say none. I don't want it to be there while my screen is on none. Like my screen is normal of size. And the last thing which is remaining, or maybe we have done everything. Yeah. So and also what we want is that the body's width should become 100% when I squeeze my document. Body should go to 100% when I squeeze my document. So now body will be going to 100% when I squeeze my document. Body will be visible 100%. You see, now it has become responsive as well. right? And second thing that I want to do, that do you see that? Maybe that's fair enough. We have got something. If you want, you can just make it a bit smaller, like they come closer together. But that's not the case. I don't want that one, and I can just I can just leave that on my social property, which I have done. So if I do 10 pixel and 20 pixel, let's see. Yeah, they come a bit nearer. So just bear with me right now, and I'll tell you later on that what's going on. So how many of you have exactly followed me and you have this page now working? And again, this background color I've just given for without any reason, but it looks good. We can just leave that. And you can by the way change that in the again the media query. You can change that, and you say that go to the body and just change the background color to something like yellow, something very bad, right? So it will look bad, but I wanted to make it bad, right? So it is like this, and it goes to like this, and icon appears, and everything happens. Again, you are not seeing the squeezing, but you can squeeze it by yourself on your own page, right? And you will see the difference, because it looks like this screen is not allowing me to flicker it on and show it. So I hope you enjoyed today's lecture. I hope you had a good chance to work on the practice. Like this is just the practice that everyone. And for the next session next week, what I'll do is that I'll discuss a box model, which is very important. I'll talk about some more interesting things. There is a game that we'll be playing next week, and we will learn, and we will again do another exercise of this kind, that will take a page and we'll try to create that page into different one. So thank you very much, everyone. You will find that code in my folder. You know that this code is always available in your folder. You can always look at that one. And so see you very much. So the test is open, by the way. The test, whatever it is, test 7 or test 6. Test 7 is, by the way. So it's open there, and you can just have a look at that one, and you can just work on that.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.